You're listening to the relaxing, soothing, and stress-free sounds of Sacramento Smooth Jazz.
Welcome to Sacramento Smooth Jazz, your destination for exceptional music. I'm Michael Andrews, and today we invite you in as we shine the spotlight on the remarkable Kim Scott. Since her debut in 2011, Kim has risen to prominence with her album Shine, renowned for her distinctively clear tone, compelling compositions, and impeccable musicianship. Kim extends her reach as a flutist through her role as the host of Kim Scott's Block Party Radio, connecting with jazz enthusiasts worldwide, and we'll talk about that, of course. And her latest single, Magic City Streets, showcases her continuous innovation and artistic growth. Her collaborations with notable artists like Jonathan Fritzen and Jazmin Ghent, just to name a few, demonstrates her diverse musical abilities. Her performances from the Seabreeze Jazz Festival to Blues Alley captivates audiences with her amazing stage presence. As a great member, a wonderful member of the all-female jazz ensemble, Jazz in Pink, Kim is a leading figure in promoting women's contributions to jazz. Tune in as we explore the journey of Kim Scott, a standout in the contemporary jazz landscape. Kim, welcome to Sacramento Smooth Jazz. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I am so thrilled. I know that you are beyond busy with studio time, tour time, just life. Life is lifing.
Life is busy. Life is lifing, that is for sure.
Right? So I won't take too much of your time, but I want our listeners to just know on our Artist Spotlight of the Week, who Kim Scott is behind the scenes. You are a great musician, but talk to us. Why the flute? How did that start?
Well, that's a good question. So my parents are musicians, first and foremost. Before I was born, they had their own band.
Nice.
They were actually signed to the Stax record label.
Oh.
So they were called the Dynamic Soul Machine. You can still, go to YouTube and listen to their records. So, every child in the home had to play an instrument. We were all exposed to all different genres of music. My mother was a pianist. My dad was a saxophonist, and they both sing.
Oh, nice.
So I chose, I didn't choose. Initially, it was violin and piano. We all had to start on piano. And by fifth grade, you get to go and meet with the band director of your school and choose an instrument if you want to do band. And I wanted to try the flute because it was so pretty and it was petite and it was silver and shiny. And, since I was exposed to instruments via my parents, I knew what the flute sounded like. And I just gravitated to that. So I picked it up. I was one of the very few students in class who could actually make a sound on it. So, of course, that sparked my interest. But I just fell in love with the instrument from day one, and I have never looked back.
Wow. It's a great story. You saw it. You saw the shininess of it. It's petite.
Oh, yeah.
It
called my name.
Called your name. It chose you.
It did.
It chose you. So
it did.
Going back in time, so I'm sure learning it, playing the notes and things of that nature was just really, you were just really into it overall. What was the inspiration to just go forth as you're learning how to play it, learning the notes and things of that nature? What was that inspiration like?
Well, you know what? I was always so intrigued by learning, the different fingerings and learning technique and, having an accomplished pianist as your mother, what the end result of practice looks like and sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be as good as my parents on their instrument. So I knew I had to have a work ethic and I knew I needed to have passion for what I was doing. So those were really the drives for me, watching my parents work hard and practice and, seeing a final product. That was very appealing to me. But also because I was exposed to music in the way that I was, as I said, my parents always played different genres of music in our home. And I remember many a day where my mother would play the Boston Pops on vinyl records in the home. So I grew up listening to the symphony. And so 5th, 6th, 7th grade, my goal in life was to be a classical flutist that played in the symphony.
In the 5th grade?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh,
yeah.
I would play along with the records, like any kind of melody that I could pull from it that was tangible for me, I would play along with the records. I would, learn melodies by ear. I had to learn the theory side of everything because my mother was also a music educator in public schools for 30 plus years. So those were the inspirations for me. That was the drive for me. And I knew very, very early on that I wanted to be a professional flute player. I didn't know really what that looked like as far as jobs or making money, because back then, money's not an issue. You're not thinking about, what can I do that's going to make me a great salary? You just want to do what you love.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do. So my parents found performing arts schools for me to go to school in high school. So I actually went to the Alabama School of Fine Arts, where I was exposed to private lessons and music theory and class piano and all of these courses. And that prepared me to audition for university music programs. I was blessed to have full rides to go and study classical flute. So all of my degrees are in classical flute performance and music pedagogy.
Come on now. And you mentioned practice. And I've seen some of your videos where you're talking about practice and you're practicing and you're showing the difference when it comes to doing certain things. But I also saw one video and you were really just being very transparent. You were practicing with glasses off.
Yes.
You know where I'm going. You know where I'm going.
Yes.
And then you put black glasses on and you're like, that's what it looks like. That's what the notes look like.
Yes. Yeah, and I was so proud on the first video. I just thought I nailed it.
Right.
But yeah, the second video with glasses on, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm playing this thing at the wrong tempo. And I had learned it at a slower tempo. So I'm like, I got to go back, bump the metronome marking up 20, 30 clicks. And and it just tickled me so bad.
Right. That was fun. I'm glad that you were just sharing that with us, because it just shows that, hey, you're just being real. You're being transparent. Like, look, this is where we are right now. Now,
I love being transparent, and I also love being an example. I'm a professional, but I still practice. It's important that young people and people in the business know that, we have to continue growing.
Yeah.
We can't just always feel like we have arrived.
Exactly. Now, you've worked with so many people. You've collaborated with a lot of great individuals. So when you collaborate, what kind of qualities do you look for in that collaboration?
That's a great question, because I'm very intentional about everything that I do.
I could tell.
Yeah. I love working with artists who know what their voice is and what their worth is. And I know every musician feels like they're worth something. We all should, right?
Right.
But it's different when you hear an artist's work that has their own voice and they're confident in what they have to say, because their works stand out for many different reasons. It may be the quality of the track. Did they really invest in great mixing and mastering? Because that is important. Did they invest in the musicians on the track, the quality of the musicians, the strength of the musicians? Their writing, does it stand out, or does it sound like everything on the radio? I really like working with artists who are confident in their voice, they're creative in what they're trying to say, and they invest in themselves. And you can hear that and see that through their body of work.
I love that. And so for those who are taking pride, it really just extends you to the ability to really collaborate in a great way to put out a great product, because now someone's really working really hard behind what they're trying to do.
Exactly. Now, with that being said, because you're playing with a cause, it seems, you have passion for what you're doing. Talk to us about the group, Jazmin Ghent, because that says something as well when you have an all-female group doing some things out there, showcasing their talents. Because in my opinion, too, I believe that women need to get together more so and showcase their talents. And I believe you guys are doing it very well. What's that group mean to you overall? I'm so honored to be a part of Jazmin Ghent. I think it's something really special to have women in the business who are willing to come together to be an example for other women. There are so many female musicians who don't have the courage to step out and try to be out front because they feel like it's a male-dominated genre. When you look at the rosters at these festivals and at these jazz venues, and it's 9 times out of 10, mostly men. You might have 1 or 2 women, but it's really important for us to just come together and show that these women are really serious about their craft. They work just as hard, if not harder, than some of the men in the business. And just to be a voice for those women and young girls that, hey, you can do this. You have every right to want to be in the business, and you have every right to be able to command a stage and deliver your talent. So, we get together and we have a blast championing each other and encouraging each other to stay, to stay in the business and to keep shouting from the mountaintops.
Mm-hmm.
We're women, we wear pink and we're bad.
That's right. And, you're absolutely right. And very, very talented. I mean, incredibly talented. You say bad. I agree with you because, me having sisters, I see things from a different lens as, I'm going to say it. I see things from a different lens than a lot of men, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I agree, in my opinion, too, women are more detail-oriented.
You know what? That is definitely an advantage.
Yes.
That is definitely a highlight. We're very, very organized.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're very intentional about what we do, and we think about all the steps to get from A to B.
Yes.
That's really important. We don't just jump,
right?
And try to rush and get everything done. We're really meticulous about the steps.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a benefit for sure.
I definitely agree. Now, you've been on stage all over the world. What has been, can you share a time where you're just going, wow, I'm here. I'm on this stage with so-and-so, or I'm experiencing this. What has been that for you? Where it be either a person or persons you're with or just the event in itself? Did it make you feel nervous? Were you excited? What was that?
Well, as far as being nervous or anything, I think because I've been performing for so long, even when I was a youth,
mm-hmm.
so I don't get nervous. If anything, I get excited to go out. Like it's when, is it time to go out yet?
Right.
But I would say the most memorable moment for me where it just took me aback was playing the Algarve Jazz Festival in Portugal. I had been overseas many times before that in different countries and performing, but this one stood out because it was my first performance at the Algarve, and there were so many people in the audience who already had my music. Like they came with their CDs.
Wow.
For me to sign.
Come on, I love it.
And I'm like, I am over the pond,
Right?
I just could not believe, people had driven in had flown in from Spain. They came from Germany for this concert in Portugal. And they were saying that it's been on their calendar for months, and they were so excited because they've been fans since 2011. I'm like, oh my goodness. So you when you're in the States and you have that experience, state to state, it's still really special.
Yeah.
But to be in another part of the world and people can sing along to the melodies you wrote,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's just really special.
Nice. Now, speaking of the songs you wrote, let's talk about personal soundtrack. Now, I know it's like choosing your favorite child or favorite pet, but if you had to choose one of your own songs as a soundtrack to your life, what would it be? Which one?
That's an easy one for me.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I love all my songs. You're right. They're all my babies, right? But Shine is super special to me.
Oh, okay.
Because I've seen how much it has motivated the world of listeners, listeners of jazz, and people who aren't even jazz fans have come up to me or written me and said, this song got me through the year. This song empowers me. This song makes me feel like I can do everything. And when I wrote it, that's how it felt to me. Like, I'm going to shine. I have a light. Yeah. And it's got to be bright. I'm gonna, and that's why when I wrote this with Adam Hawley, I told him, I said, hey, I've got to say the word shine somewhere in here. I'm going to sing the chorus, sing it in the chorus. And he was like, do it. So, every time I get through that chorus and at the very end of it, you hear me sing Shine. It's just like the heavens open up.
And hearing how you're explaining it really just opens it up even more so to when I hear it. As you're saying it, I'm actually playing the chorus in my head.
Yeah. That would be the theme song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said that's an easy one. I love it. I love it. Now, how can people get in touch with you? You have social media, websites. What's the way to get in touch with you?
Yeah. First and foremost, people can go to my website. It's kimscottmusic.com. They can actually subscribe to my newsletter on my website, and they'll be in the know for everything. I'm on social media everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, Kim Scott Music. They can even follow me on Spotify. They can follow me on Pandora and YouTube, Kim Scott Music as well. I love engaging with fans, and I try to be as present as possible on all of my platforms.
That's possible.
So I'd love for people to follow me.
Yeah, well, that's great. Speaking about radio, since we're on radio, we're doing internet radio. You're a radio host.
I am. Kim Scott's Block Party radio show.
Oh, talk to us about that.
Yes, I have a radio show called Kim Scott's Block Party Radio. We're in our 8th year right now on terrestrial radio and online stations across the world. Super excited about it. And funny story, I never intended to be a radio host. My husband had a background in radio for 14 years. He was a DJ. And he would always tell me that I always had something interesting to say about music when we would be listening. And he said, and you actually have a really good speaking voice, so maybe we should try to record something and just test the waters. So that's what happened. We tested the waters. We came up with a sample show, shopped it around to some networks, and it immediately got picked up.
Nice.
So it started off as a 1-hour show, and it grew into a 2-hour show by popular demand.
Come on. And our listeners can tune into that by going to your website.
Well, if they go to my website, kimscottmusic.com, they'll click on the Block Party Radio tab, and it will show a listing of all these stations and air times throughout the week.
I heard that. Well, I'm looking forward to knowing more about that.
Thank you.
That is absolutely
We have a
amazing.
blast. That we say our slogan is it's the hottest jazz party on the airwaves.
Come on now. I love it. That's Kim Scott's Block Party Radio. The hottest.
Yeah.
The hottest what?
The hottest jazz party on the airwaves.
Come on. Oh, come on now. I love it. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Now, as we leave, I want people to hear about your latest track. You got Magic City Streets out there doing very well in the charts. What was the inspiration for that?
Well, the initial inspiration was I just wanted to work with Paul Brown. I've been a fan of his production and writing for a long time. And when he agreed to work with me, I thought, let's do this thing. So he and Shane Theriot had actually sent me a foundation. So a groove, keys, drums, bass. And he sent me a couple of tunes and he said, tell me which groove you are attracted to. And I was attracted to the groove from Magic City Streets. And Paul said, well, this tune does have a title. It's called Magic, but there are no verses. There's no chorus. You're going to have to create all of that, which I was fine with. And once I wrote the song and sent it back to him, I said, hey, I'd like to change the title. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and you may not know this, but Birmingham's nickname is the Magic City. And it's the Magic City because of the nutrients that are in the soil. So, but I like to think that it's because of the magic of the people here. So because of the funky laid back groove, I thought that was the perfect title for the song. So that's it, Magic City Streets. It's an homage to my city.
Wow, so you've given me some insight and understanding and greater appreciation for your latest track. I love this.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you get to hear it right now on Sacramento Smooth Jazz. Kim, I am pleased and thrilled that you had some time for us today. Thank you so much.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you guys, and thank you to all of your listeners as well.
Thanks for listening to Sacramento Smooth Jazz. To continue listening to Smooth Jazz 24/7, follow Sac Smooth Jazz on social media and listen by going to sacsmoothjazz.fm.